Hello, my name is Jordan Duskus. This is my individual research project, and I chose to do it over imagery in golf. So, what is imagery? Imagery is described as creating or recreating an experience in your mind. Imagery involves all of the senses: visual, kinesthetic, auditory, tactile, and olfactory. Imagery is a form of stimulation. It is a mental technique that programs us to respond in a way that we vision the situation or the movement and experience. So the two pictures that I have in the bottom corner, first one is of Tiger Woods. He is visualizing a putt. The second picture I have is it's a fabulous book for golfers. It's called The Use of Visual Imagery in Golf. Continuing with what is imagery, it is also referred to as making a movie in your mind. The kinesthetic sense in imagery is extremely helpful for athletes. Imagery involves moods and emotions as well. So, the uses of imagery. When using imagery, it can improve concentration, it enhances motivation, it helps build confidence, it also helps controlling emotional responses, and while using it and practicing it, you can acquire correct sports skills or new sports skills. So the two pictures I have on the left are a woman amateur golfer visualizing a putt, and then the second picture is a great book by Mitchell Spearman. It's called The Aim of Golf, and this book is great because it teaches visual imagery and gives lessons on how imagery can improve your game. So, the history of imagery. There was little to no interest in researching imagery in the early 20th century. European psychologists were the first to emphasize imagery in psychotherapy. The most commonly discussed theories in sport, exercise, and performance psychology are presented along with an overview on the conceptual models of imagery. In the early stages, there were many theories of imagery, and those were constantly used in sports and exercise. The research. So, the research evidence comes from case studies, psychological intervention packages, scientific experiments, and this evidence, this research, the evidence that came from it, they learned that it helps reduce the time needed to warm up, it decreases tension and fear, it helps boost hope and confidence, and it helps improve concentration. So, when do golfers use imagery? Some situations where golfers use imagery include tee shots, getting out of trouble, meaning like punching out of trees or laying up, bunker shots, and putting. A lot of golfers visualize where they want the ball to start rolling and how it's going to fall in the cup. Essentially, golfers use imagery on every golf shot to picture where they want to start the ball and where they want it to land. The two pictures at the bottom, the first one is a man visualizing a bunker shot where he wants it to start. You can also see his feet and posture. The second picture is another male golfer getting out of trouble, meaning a punch shot, and a punch shot is using imagery on a punch shot is very beneficial because there's typically punching out, you use a lot of curve, you move the ball, so being able to visualize where you want the ball to start and finish is extremely helpful in a punch shot situation. Using imagery to help change emotional state. Imagery has been more powerful than verbal language to trigger emotional response in golf. Imagery keeps you in your state of optimal performance. So the pictures on the bottom, these are pictures of three professionals. You can see Jordan, a very young Jordan Spieth, and then you can see Paul Casey, both showing two very different emotions. Um, being able to execute what you visualize is extremely rewarding, and you have greater emotion when you're able to perform what you visualize. So using imagery to help improve motor skills. Imagery is essentially visualizing a movement. You're visualizing what you want your body to do. It stimulates the same neurological process as when movement is actually made. Imagery is really effective as a rehearsal before a shot, like again, saying a pre-shot routine. I think that's where all golfers use imagery is before they hit the ball, the pre-shot routine. Um, Imagery can help increase rate of learning new motor skills. So using imagery, making it effective, can help you create new skills because you're visualizing what you want your body to do. You're repeating a body movement. So the picture at the bottom, you have a Tiger Woods. You can see his swing, and the technology nowadays in golf, you're able to have videos and photos, and it's easy to have that in front of you, so you're able to visualize what you should be doing or what you want to improve on. So the best example of imagery in golf that I can think of is a movie called 7 Days in Utopia. This movie is also based on a book. In this movie, the character Lucas Black is a young golfer who wants to take a shot at being a pro. Luke, however, has a big blow up and it makes national news. Um, he drives away from his father and his father, which was his coach, and as he's leaving this scene, or as he decides to get up and leave, Luke ends up crashing, um, and the property that he crashes is a man by the name of Johnny, um, who ends up being he was a phenomenal golfer. Johnny makes Luke an offer to spend the week with him in Utopia to learn, what he has learned and to give him lessons. And one of the scenes in this movie is Johnny puts his ball behind a tree, and he wants Luke to paint him a picture of how he wants this shot to look. Um, Once he finishes painting, he is able to go up and hit the exact shot that he ends up painting. How professionals use imagery. Golfers use imagery to rehearse new skills, practice and refine existing skills, and prepare for particular situations, such as the first tee shot. Golfers who are faced with an approach shot being your attempt to the green, meaning it could be your second shot on a par 4, it could be your third shot on a par 5. So here are some of the steps, some of the ways that they use imagery when they're faced with this kind of shot. First step would be to step back and picture the ball exactly how he or she wants it. Then choose, choose a starting line. If you wanted to, hit it right, you would start it right at the pin. Um, Vice versa, if you want to start it left, start it left. Then hitting a specific point in the sky. And this doesn't have to be in the sky. This could be, a tree. This could be a chimney. But finding a very specific and a detailed object on the course, even off the course, to visualize where you want your ball to start when you hit it. Next would be curving and landing the ball. If you wanted to land it right on the pin, you'd visualizing it, the ball, landing right up the pin. And curving of the ball, moving the ball. Do you want it to move right to left or left to right? So these two pictures here are both male and female professional golfers, and you can see them with approach shots standing behind the ball, and you can really see them visualize how they want to hit this shot. They're looking at the line, they're lining their club up to the target that they're visualizing hitting it to, and this helps them execute great shots. To continue on with professionals using imagery, the next step would be to step back and take some rehearsal swings. Once you know where you want your ball to start and where you want it to land, start making that motion with your body so you can feel it and memorize it. Next, feel the motion that turns the image into reality. So, when you're making these rehearsal swings, feel what you're doing and really focus on those movements, because that will turn what you're imagining or what you're visualizing into reality. I've seen some professionals stand behind it and close their eyes and try to feel what it would be like, actually see themselves hitting the shot with their eyes closed. Lastly, once you've visualized everything, you hit the shot exactly as he or she saw it. If you wanted it to start right and curve to the left, you hit a draw. And that would be a good example of executing what you visualized. Next, Tiger Woods and imagery. Tiger Woods, one of the greatest to ever play the game. There's a great quote that the genius to Tiger Woods is his creative imagination in a short game. Tiger Woods has just an incredible imagination in general, with coming up with different shots in different situations. He has a very creative imagination and was gifted with imaginary imagery skills. Early in his career, he had a hard time with imagery because he saw too many different shots at once. He saw too many movie scenes in his mind, when he only really needed one. Only needed one shot. He saw multiple shots at the same time, and it took him a while. He had a hard time visualizing just that one shot. Next, Jack Nicklaus. Again, one of the greats, probably one of the best to ever play the game. There's another fabulous quote by him, and this is how he goes about a shot, and this is how he uses visualization and imagery. I never hit a shot, not in practice, without having a very sharp and focused picture of it in my head. First, I see the ball where I want it to finish, nice and white, and sitting up on the bright green grass. Then, the scene quickly changes and I see the ball going there, its path, trajectory, and shape, even its behavior on landing, meaning like spin or rolling out. Then there is a sort of fade out, and the next scene shows me making the kind of swing that will turn the previous images into reality. So basically, what he's explaining here is the process of a movie that goes on in his mind. You have a few scenes of visualizing, how the ball is sitting, exactly, where he wants to hit it, and then when it fades out into the next scene, he sees himself actually hitting that exact shot that he's wanting. And him being able to do this made him one of the greatest players of all time. So in conclusion, imagery is used by golfers, both professional and amateur. Being a golfer myself, I don't think I've ever met any other golfer, whether it be them playing recreational, college, high school, professional, who doesn't use imagery in their pre-shot routine or doesn't visualize what they want to do. Many studies and research have proven that imagery can improve overall performance. And in order for imagery to be effective, one must believe and practice it frequently. This is just kind of like the same lines of manifestation. In order to manifest something happening, you have to put your full trust in it. You can't have any doubt. And being able to practice using imagery and becoming more confident will only make you more successful in your execution, and will also better improve skills. So here are the resources that I used for this presentation. I also used the textbook that we were given, and then I used the PowerPoint slides provided by Dr. Bolton. And then here are the links to where I got the pictures, and also the 7 Days in Utopia video was a clip from YouTube.